If you have been following the events surrounding the death of the former Prime Minister of Kenya, Right Honourable Raila Odinga, that happened on the Wednesday of October 15, 2025, and the repatriation of his body, you may have so far seen in one or two pictures or clips his daughter Winnie Odinga, dearly holding or attached to her father's favourite cream white fedora hat that has a black ribbon on it. The daughter, who was with him throughout his stay in Kerala, India up to his death in the morning of that Wednesday, first emerged with the hat as she paid her respect to his body at Kochi International Airport in Kerala, from where the body was to be ferried to Mumbai for it to be picked up by the Kenyan delegation that had been dispatched in the early evening of October 15, 2025 and repatriated back to Kenya. At the Kerala airport, Winnie Odinga could be seen not only laying a wreath of flowers on her father's casket, but also placing his favourite hat on top of the flowers covering the coffin, and it remained that way for a while as they waited for the Indian Air Force flight AIC 2670 to come and pick them up and take them to the Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj International Airport in Mumbai. Then, upon reaching in Mumbai moments later, it could be seen that Winnie had not left behind the hat or packed it together with Raila Odinga's other belongings, but she was carrying it with her all the time. And even as they waited for the casket to be removed from the Indian Air Force plane for it to be boarded on the Kenyan flight, she placed the hat on one of the seats at the VIP lounge of the Chhatrapati Shivaji International Airport, next to her, in a gesture that could be interpreted as giving her father a seat so that he could also sit down with them. She would then later carry the hat with her to the plane repatriating the body, and inside the plane, she again placed the hat on its own seat in the business class, for them to fly back home with the hat occupying its own seat just like a person. 6 hours later, when the plane landed back at the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport in Nairobi at exactly 9:20 AM East African time, one of the iconic scenes that could be spotted at the airport despite the rowdiness that marred the arrival, with hundreds of uncontrollable youth overrunning the police and military security then storming into the airport to take charge of the body, was the moment Winnie Odinga and the former Prime Minister's bodyguard Maurice Ogeta were disembarking. Leading the way out of the plane was Winnie Odinga, who was being followed by an emotionally overwhelmed bodyguard Maurice Ogeta, and as you may already have noticed, she was gently carrying her father's hat with both hands as if it was something so delicate that she couldn't dare drop it. A couple of minutes after disembarking from the plane and hitting the tarmac of the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport, Winnie Odinga headed straight to the VIP lounge of the airport where Raila Odinga's family members were seated, waiting to receive his body, and in an emotional but humble manner, she handed over the hat to her grieving mother Ida Odinga while kneeling. Mama Ida Odinga herself was dressed in black from head to toe with a black fedora hat of relatively similar quality like that of her deceased husband's, complementing her look. Winnie then mumbled something to her mother as if narrating how the events unfolded in Kerala, and comforted her throughout their exchange by patting on her lap, with the iconic hat resting on her mother's lap, and she did all this while the Kenyan President William Ruto watched on while standing a few feet behind her left side. Mind you, this was the same hat that Raila Odinga had worn on his journey to India, only to come back without wearing it. So after witnessing all this, we came to a conclusion that perhaps Winnie Odinga was the one that had been chosen to ceremonially carry the spirit of her father home, that is through the hat. According to Luo beliefs, it is believed that ancestral spirits remain with the living and can influence their destiny even after a person's death, and thus after someone's death, necessary rituals are performed to maintain a good relationship with these spirits, as they are believed to play a role in the community's fortunes. And since Raila Odinga died in a foreign land, perhaps the vessel in which it had been chosen for his spirit to be ferried back home was his hat, a hat that his daughter was to carry. This way, the family was avoiding a situation where the former Prime Minister's ghost would come back to haunt or torment them and request that they go back to Kerala, India and bring home his spirit. Additionally, to bring home the spirit of a relative who died away, Luo people also ensure that the body is returned home for burial at the homestead, since burial elsewhere is considered a wrongful death for the spirit and can lead to the spirit haunting the family, and that is why it was set that Raila Odinga will be buried at his rural home of Apoda Farm in Bondo Siaya County, next to his mother's grave.